more yards from scrimmage than Bucky Irving. I think you think about a guy that caught 75 passes last year. He's going to be involved not only in the run game but in the pass game. Just a weapon they can use all over. Might even be involved with special teams if they let him. I think for them to have Bucky Irving back, to have Sean Tucker back, and to want to go out and spend $7 million a year to bring in Gainwell, you don't do that unless you intend to use that guy a lot.
Yeah.
So I think he's somebody that went under the radar because he's been behind Saquon Barkley and Miles. He's been behind a lot of other 1,000-yard rushers in Philly. Had a chance to kind of come into his own in Pittsburgh. You wonder why Pittsburgh would let him go if he's your team MVP. But I think the Bucs were really happy to get him. And if they're kind of hedging their bets, not knowing whether Bucky Irving's going to be like his rookie year or with the inconsistencies he had last year, paying that money to get Kenny Gainwell here is a good way to kind of cover that and give them another option they can trust in the backfield.
Rick, when we looked at the Twitter feed or the Instagram feed for Rachaad White, he couldn't wait to get out of Tampa and probably burn some of his leverage because he was making it very clear he wanted to play with his college teammate at Arizona State, Jaden Daniels, again.
Yeah.
And when I look at the contracts here, I think it's a 1 year, $4 million deal for Rachaad White.
Two
2 year?
No, 1 year, $2 million deal.
$2 million with up to $4 million in potential bonuses and incentives.
Yeah.
That's not the deal that Kenneth Gainwell got. He got a 2 year, $14 million deal. Rick, you don't pay backup running back $7 million. No. Especially when he's the number one highest paid running back in Tampa right now. Shoot, Sean Tucker is making more money than Bucky Irving is. He's the number 3 back. What did that contract tell you when you saw that right away in free agency that Gainwell got an average of $7 million a year?
It tells me they're hedging their bets on Bucky Irving. And look, I think that Bucky will be better suited in this offense than he was. And I know he can run the inside zone. To me, this will be more of an outside zone running team. I think they got to be careful with Bucky from the standpoint of, even though, his running style, he likes to run over people. I compare him to Warrick Dunn, but Warrick Dunn never took a hit straight on. Warrick was slippery. He got down. Right. He knew when the journey was over. This guy wants to run through you, run over you. And we saw what happened. He was hurt for the first time last year, I suppose. It's still unbelievable to me that you played football that long, but, whether it was the foot or the shoulder, which was a major injury. So my guess is that this is a way to preserve Bucky Irving a little bit. Maybe not give him 20 touches a game. Maybe it's 15. Maybe he's your Barry Bonds, right? He's the guy that comes up and can knock it out of the park a little bit. Kenneth Gainwell is a very sturdy back, very, very durable. What's interesting is they don't have the physical dude that even Rachaad White was. They have 3 guys that are all about the same size, and I know Sean Tucker maybe by default has turned into their short yardage and goal line guy, but he's not the biggest damn back in the world either. Yeah. So they're going to have to survive a little bit with these guys, but they're also interchangeable, which is good because you're not changing your offense. You can run any play with any of them. So, but yeah, Gainwell, that's not backup money. And I think it's a signal that we plan on, truly, you hear Skip Pete, go with a hot hand. Well, that's not always the case, right? I think they forced Bucky a little bit too much last year when he was healthy.
Especially when Rachaad White's ripping off a 39-yard run in the first quarter, and then he doesn't see the ball again.
Right. It made no sense. So, I think the realization is there, whatever issues Bucky had, off the field, but just like we got to cover ourselves here with another running back that can carry the bulk of this if we need him to. And at the very least, you got 1A and 1B, and that's not a bad thing, not a bad way to go.
I think if you look at Atlanta too, though, if you look at Zach Robinson last year, if you look at the modern 1A, 1B running back combo, I think you saw that in Atlanta where he's got Bijan Robinson, and he's still willing in the fourth quarter to take Bijan out and in the red zone to trust Tyler Algier to be a touchdown guy in short yardage situations. So he's used to having 2 talented options and trying to get them both involved. Tyler Algier got paid to go to Arizona. Obviously, Bijan Robinson is still probably a top 5 back in the NFL. Yeah. But I do think he has experience navigating a deep backfield and trying to use what's now even 3 different options and trying to keep them all involved.
You mentioned 3, and even Liam Cohen had problems once Sean Tucker went off in that New Orleans game in Game 5, right, with a couple of touchdowns and 100 yards and making it look easy against the Saints in that game. it's a great problem to have, but it's a problem nonetheless. There's only one football, and there's 3 backs that are worthy of carries. And Liam Cohen had problems with that. And I had a chance to talk with Liam at the NFL annual meeting because he and Zach Robinson are actually best friends.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, we've already talked about the pony package, and we talked about Tampa Bay personnel, and that might be the remedy to get Sean on the field. And I think Sean grew some as a pass protector last year when he had to play more snaps with Bucky out. And so now you do have 3 backs that are kind of interchangeable because there's not a tell, right? The offense looked different when Rashad Wright was in compared to when Bucky Irving was in terms of what plays they were going to run, how they're running styles. Now it's kind of like the shell game where you have all 3 guys that kind of do the same thing. They all look about the same. It'll be interesting to see. Let's flip to the defensive side because that's really where this team needs a lot of help. And we talked a little bit about A'Shawn Robinson being a big body and an ass kicker up front. Alex Anzalone, Greg, is he the most important addition to this Bucs defense this year? Not named Ruben Bain, of course, but just from a free agency standpoint, because he's got some big shoes to fill in Levante David. But then if he has a rookie starting next to him in Josiah Trotter, he's got to play that juggling act of, I got to learn this defense myself, then I got to cover for the mistakes that the rookie might make.
No, I think he absolutely takes the helm from Levante David as the leader and kind of the smarts of this defense, who has to get everybody in the right places, has to be a playmaker as well. I think they did well to get him. Detroit, you think about how good Detroit has been. I think they kind of luck out in that, Alex Anzalone's a Florida guy, just wants to kind of come home and retire to Florida, play his last few years here.
Yeah.
And I think they're trusting that he still has a few years left in the tank. From a leadership standpoint, from a pass coverage standpoint, probably better than what they had last year. Mm-hmm. It's hard to think about the Bucs losing a legend like Levante David and being better at linebacker, but as a position group, I really think they can be. I think you look back now at Levante David, we kind of knew he was a step slow. He's kind of admitted to loafing at times, to not playing at his best. So that's probably where the Bucs will be the most completely new at a position. To have him and Trotter, you could see Christian Roseboom in there. I suppose at some point Gervasio Dennis could get in, but it really will probably be Anzalone as the veteran leader guy running things and putting people in the right spot, and Josiah Trotter being the weapon and the guy they can blitz and kind of use all over. That's an area where they have to get better. So like you said, Anzalone is a crucial part. It wasn't a huge paycheck to come here. But somebody that they felt really identified what they needed, gave them still some of the leadership you had with Levante from a winning program, a team that's used to getting to the playoffs, and somebody has to step in and take the mantle from Levante in the middle of that defense.
Rick, I've talked about a lot on the Pewter Report podcast. When you look at this offseason, Bucs fans were shaken by what happened. Todd Bowles didn't get fired. He's not the most popular head coach in franchise history. No one's going to confuse him with Tony Dungy or John Gruden or Bruce Arians, right? Even though he's the 4th best.
Won a lot of division titles.